Welcome to PowerPoint University, to a session on PowerPoint best practices and worst pitfalls. Although this course will focus on advanced features and functions and best practices, it will also provide the tools for new PowerPoint users to learn the basics for PowerPoint presentations. First, we will look at some of the reasons behind using PowerPoint. The primary reason for using PowerPoint is to reach your audience. It is a wonderful aid in the teaching process. It does require, however, more complex preparation, more complex delivery, and you can't wing it or skip material. PowerPoint also accentuates poor flow, poor content, poor timing, and poor delivery. You should be comfortable in speaking before adding PowerPoint to your portfolio. What are some of the benefits of doing PowerPoint talks, and why are most business presentations now using this format? PowerPoint is a great tool for teaching. It allows you to organize your thoughts into slides, which can be rearranged and revised like note cards. Your slides can also help visualize complex relationships and flows. They are also key to holding the audience's attention. Displaying written text can emphasize your most important points. To be effective, a presentation must tell a spoken story in concert with a picture story. When these two elements combine seamlessly, your message is clear in the mind of your audience. According to a recent study, people retain 60% more of the content from audio-visual talks. There are 4 types of learners. First, tactile learners, those that learn best by doing. Second, audio learners, those that learn by listening. Third, audio-visual learners, those that learn best by a combination of audio and visual input. And finally, visual learners. The important point here is that PowerPoint reaches 3 out of 4 of the learning types. According to a recent study, over 50% of formal teaching is now done using audiovisual methods. This is because 78% of us learn better with audiovisual learning. What do the scriptures have to say about audiovisual learning? In Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, we read, "Write down the vision and make it plain upon tables." This really goes along with the saying, "A picture is worth 1,000 words." And isn't this true? In the introduction from the Photodrama of Creation we read, "The Photodrama of Creation is presented by the IBSA. Its aim is public instruction along the religio-scientific lines in defense of the Bible as the inspired Word of God." And note what it says on the cover of the flyer, "An education in one day." Pastor Russell realized that this was a very effective format in reaching the people. The pastor was an audiovisual innovator, and we feel that this is as valid today as it was in his day. What's the best way to get up to speed on PowerPoint? Rather than trying to teach all the features of PowerPoint, we will advise you on the use of the online tutorials for learning the basics. Using the online tutorials is very easy. It requires PowerPoint 2003 or newer and an internet connection. Simply click on the Help pull-down. A PowerPoint help window will pop up. Select the training option. This will start your internet browser, which will go to the Microsoft home page. A list of Microsoft Office courses is listed. Simply select the PowerPoint option from the appropriate menu. A list of courses will appear. The tutorials step you through various features and functions to make you proficient in PowerPoint. You can learn about slide layout, templates, backgrounds, text, fonts, bullets, pictures, printing, animation, transitions, slide masters, and much more. Once you've taken these courses, you'll be proficient in PowerPoint. Next, we'll review some of the common pitfalls seen in PowerPoint presentations. This is an assortment of 20-point fonts. Note the wide variance in readability. This affects your audience's ability to grasp your message. Stylized fonts are hard to read, especially on a projector screen. Just like the fine print in a contract, the fine print in a PowerPoint may be impossible to read. Note what happens when we eliminate the larger text. The problem of small print is accentuated with distance from the screen. Are your slides an eye test? This slide illustrates the problem of poor contrast. A lack of contrast between text and background and within pictures can ruin a presentation. Rather than getting your point, your audience may be straining to see what's on the screen. Digital projectors in a partially lighted room accentuate the problem of poor contrast. This slide demonstrates some very distracting animation. It's not uncommon for PowerPoint novices to overdo the animation. Good animation should focus a user's attention rather than distracting them. Another pitfall of PowerPoint users is distracting slide transitions. This is a demonstration of distracting transitions. Wild slide transitions can actually irritate audiences to the point that they miss your message. Random slide transitions can also be a big distraction. Many novice presenters don't understand how to animate points in their talks. The result is numerous repetitive slides with more and more text. This makes modifying the slideshow difficult and increases the overall size of the presentation. PowerPoint animation simplifies this and makes presentations more manageable. The ultimate measure of reaching your audience is when they ask for a copy of your PowerPoint. Those who understand PowerPoint animation may have a tendency to overlay text and pictures on a single slide. This becomes a problem when you print your presentation. All that will be printed is the top layer of text and graphics. PowerPoint presentations should be designed for both print and on-screen display. Inappropriate and silly pictures can distract from your message. It's important that your pictures illustrate the point being made. Picture backgrounds can be good provided there is adequate contrast between the background and the text and other graphics. Make sure that you get permission if you use copyrighted pictures. This slide illustrates the problem with stretching images. Overstretching makes images grainy and detracts from the overall quality of your presentations. If a picture is too grainy, find a larger image. Poor color mix will poison a presentation. It is distracting and may turn off your audience. When working with PowerPoint design templates, make sure that your color selections are complementary to the color scheme. Another pitfall in PowerPoint is trying to put too much on one slide. This is an example of a very cluttered slide. When there's too much on a single slide, your point will be lost. Next, we will investigate best practices in putting together PowerPoint presentations. Font selection is critical to effectively conveying your message. Fonts under 20 points may not be readable from the back of the room. You should never use narrow fonts as they are thinner and often difficult to read. Make sure that there is adequate contrast between the font and the background. Never use red print as it is unreadable from a distance. It is recommended that you use the sans serif fonts such as Arial, Helvetica, and Tahoma. These have been proven in tests to be best for on-screen viewing. Good animation has two characteristics. First, it remains in place. Second, it doesn't expand beyond its final size. The use of wipe is good if it's used to focus attention on an endpoint. The appear, fade, and wipe animation effects can enhance the viewer experience. Make sure that animation in your talks is subtle and consistent. Slide transitions are completely optional. If you use transitions, fade or fade through black are recommended. Slide transitions should be consistent through your entire presentation. Subtle slide transitions keep the focus on your message. There are a number of ways to highlight or emphasize text. This slide illustrates many of the techniques available. They include arrows, caps, bold, underscore, italicize, color, highlight, circle, and increasing in size. It is good to remain consistent in your highlighting throughout your presentation. That way the audience will easily be able to focus on the most important points. The background or design template you choose will have a major effect on the readability of your slides. For best contrast, use a black background with white print. Perhaps a little more interesting would be a dark blue background with yellow print. The most versatile background is a white background with black or dark colored print. This is easiest to use with pictures. When you choose a background or template, keep in mind the effect that it will have on the readability of your presentation. Slide density is another critical factor in the readability of your slides. When using bullet points, it is recommended that you have no more than 6 lines with 6 words per line. Bullet points should be in short phrases, not sentences. The experts recommend that 60% of slides be open space. Cluttered slides do not convey a clear message. When it comes to color selection, it's important that you know your limits. What do you see to the left of the screen? A circle, the number 21, or the number 74? If you see the number 74, you have normal color vision. About 7% of all males are colorblind to some degree. Many people do not have a good sense of color balance. Color selection is very important to making a good presentation. If you're not sure, review your color choices with others. Next, we'll present a series of really cool tips that will help you in making PowerPoint presentations. The tips illustrated are using PowerPoint 2003. However, if you have PowerPoint 2007, there are equivalents in it as well. Master slides affect the defaults when you create a new slide. The ability to change these masters allows you to change the defaults for this PowerPoint presentation. To get this, you first click on the View pull-down. Second, you select Master. Third, you select Slide Master. And fourth, you can edit the fonts, graphics, headers and footers, styles, layout, colors, positionings, and schemes. Modifying slide masters can come in handy when you want to put a logo or a graphic on each and every slide. New slides will use the new format. Another handy tip is how to change the default text box font. To do so, you click on the Format pull-down. Second, you click on the Font. This will bring up a window where you can change the font, the effects, the style, the size, and the color. Once you click on OK, the next text box will use these defaults. It's fairly common for presenters to insert black slides at the beginning and the end of their slideshows. However, there is a more flexible technique. Simply press the B key at any time during your PowerPoint presentation and the screen will black out. Pressing any other key will relight the screen. Many remotes also support the black screen function. Using the B key is completely flexible. Anytime you make revisions to a PowerPoint, it's a good idea to run the spell checker. To do so, you click on the Tools pull-down and then select Spelling. One caution, however, spell check does not check word art. Make sure that you recheck your spelling after each set of revisions. PowerPoint presentations, especially those with lots of graphics, can grow very large in size. At the time you have completed all your revisions, you can compress the graphics in your PowerPoint. To do so, you select any graphic in the presentation and right-click on it. A pop-up window will appear. Select the Format Picture option. Select the Compress option. Yet another window will pop up. Select all pictures in the document and change the resolution to web screen. Then click on OK. After doing so, all of the graphics in the entire presentation will be compressed. This can significantly reduce the size of your PowerPoint presentation. Another handy trick is the ability to hide slides during a PowerPoint show. To do so, you simply right-click on the slide that you desire to hide. A pop-up window will appear. Click on the Hide Slide option. After this, hidden slides are bypassed during the slideshow. It's important to know what your presentation will look like on the big screen. In order to simulate this, simply walk 6 feet away from your screen. You can then examine font readability, contrast, color usage, picture recognition, and overall visual clarity. This technique allows you to make adjustments prior to the big show. Another important key to an effective presentation is to make sure that your screen is set up correctly. This can be done using a test pattern. This test pattern can be used to adjust skew, size, focus, tilt, keystone, and brightness. The first slide in your slideshow should be a title slide, which will be displayed when you look at the thumbnails. It's a good idea to hide a test pattern slide as slide number 2. So far in this presentation, we've covered why do we do PowerPoints. We've looked at some pitfalls along the way. We've looked at best practices. We've looked at some really cool tips. And now we're going to look at some tips for the actual presentation. It's always a good idea to be prepared for your presentation. In order to do so, you should back up your presentation and have a printed copy, just in case the power goes out. It's also a good idea to make an electronic copy, either on CD or jump drive. Arrange an alternate computer with someone in your audience. That way, if you have troubles, you have a fallback machine. Set up your computer in advance of your presentation. You don't want to be rushed at the last moment. In order to do so, you can restart your computer or at minimum shut down all your other applications. You can change your power settings to presentation mode. This will minimize interruptions. Also check your computer for any scheduled scans like antivirus. It's also a good idea to disable your wireless to prevent annoying pop-ups. Bring up PowerPoint and open your presentation. Finally, activate the projector signal by holding down the function key while striking the CRT/LCD key. If you do this prior to projector setup, you'll be all ready to go. During the break, it's a good idea to set up the cabling early. You need to make sure that you have power for the projector and your computer. Make sure that you always plug your computer in. It's very embarrassing to have your computer go down due to a low battery warning. If you need a podium light, make sure that you have power for it as well. Next, you need to run your cabling between the projector and the computer. Bring additional extension cords and an extra long AV cable, just in case. Projector and screen geometry is critical. The symptom of improper geometry is a very unusually shaped image. In order to correct this, you simply move the projector perpendicular to the screen. Make sure that you adjust projector geometry first, otherwise all of your other adjustments may be in vain. Room setup is also very critical. Make sure that the speaker podium does not block the view of the screen. Also make sure that the size of the screen is proportional to the size of the room. A screen that is too small for the room can ruin a presentation. It's also important to do other adjustments to the projector. First, size the image. Do this using the zoom feature on the projector as well as moving the projector forward or backward. Secondly, adjust the focus. Third, adjust the tilt. Fourth, adjust the keystone. And finally, adjust the brightness so that the images are neither washed out or too dark. Now you're ready to go, but don't turn off the projector. Position on the first slide in your presentation. Next, it's time to adjust the room lighting. Go ahead and darken the room and make adjustments to eliminate any glare on the screen. Finally, press the B key to blacken the screen. Now you're ready to go. Let's do a brief review of the major concepts we've covered in this course. One of the most critical concepts that we explored was the need to outline and organize your talk. You can learn PowerPoint using the tutorials available online. It's very important that both images and fonts be clear, legible, adequately sized, with good contrast and proper color balance. Whenever animation is used, it should be used subtly and to enhance the presentation. You should be consistent in whatever you do throughout the presentation. Practice, practice, and practice. Finally, you need to get there early to set up. Remember, a really effective PowerPoint involves telling your story in both words and pictures.